Really today what we want to talk about is how e-commerce is really a very important part of your business today, given the new pieces that we're dealing with. And I think that was a really nice segue actually out of the Avalara section with that question about tying it into my e-commerce site. So and I think today that is very important, because as we move into things, it's hard as we move forward, and how do we get to our customers and things like that. So today I want to talk a little bit about the why and the how, and it's all around maximizing what you've already got as a customer of Sage 300, and making sure that you're leveraging everything that you've got there. There's a lot of reasons why, and we'll talk to a few of these today, and then we'll show a little bit about the product itself and how you can improve and make better of that investment you have in 300, capitalizing really on all those details or processes that you've built up in Sage 300 over time. Then we'll talk a little bit about us and our background, including a product demo, which will drive to some of the top level features and things. So talking to that as we go. And then really finishing up the day with a little next steps, where can we take it from here, and some Q&A. So having an online experience, everybody's hearing about this today. You've got to be online, you've got to be doing this. And as we talk to customers, as I talk to customers on a day-to-day basis, I'm getting a lot of questions. Will this help us? Will we become more efficient? What should we focus on? And starting a web store for some customers, some prospects, it's very daunting. It's a big task. So we'll talk a little bit about that and where you should really focus on, and how you can get through that with best practices without trying to boil the ocean. Clients ask us, reduce manual errors. Will this help us reduce manual errors? And the answer there obviously is yes, it can, but you have to set it up correctly, and integration is a key to that as well. And that's why we'll talk about how to integrate into 300. Increasing revenues always on the top side of everyone's questions, right? Will we this leverage the stuff that we've already done into Sage 300? And things that I always hear from clients, especially on the B2B space, when you're selling products to other businesses, a lot of the times we'll hear, we're pretty complex. I don't really think our products have a place on the web. It's just, how do we sell them? And so we can talk to that as well. And then at the other end of the story, it's, do our customers even want to buy online? And, at the end of the day, the short answer is yes to all of those. There are some differences in each one of those questions, but, that is the key. And the key to all of this is really your Sage 300 system. And pulling through and getting the information and your processes correct and everything like that. This is actually a quote from one of our customers, and it's very apropos. We get this every time. Like, why do we need to integrate? We see systems out there that are non-integrated versus the integrated systems. Well, there's an advantage to integrating your web store to your Sage ERP. And most of it comes down to just being more efficient with the resources that you already have and capitalizing on what you have. With an integrated system, you don't have to scale out. You can utilize a lot of what you already got. Sage 300 is full of things like order details, the pricing engine, your price lists. It's all things that you've put in there. All your AR records, your customer information, things like that. You need to leverage this. Your inventory control systems, those are processes, those are pieces of information that you've put in your Sage 300 or with another application that should be leveraged easily from within a e-commerce tool. Shipping details, if you have a transportation management system in the back end, and all your credit card and payment information, you don't want to have to be duplicating different types of processes. And so with the properly integrated system, you should be allowed to leverage this. You shouldn't have to recreate this or manage this detail in two different systems. You definitely don't want to do that. It's hard enough managing it and getting it all right with one system. If you add a second one and you have to manage it within two places, it just doesn't make sense. And so, with our integration, you're able to do that and not have to recreate the wheel and control price lists and two management systems. And update your price list in Sage 300, and oh, guess what? You got to go over to the Webstore and update. Well, you shouldn't have to do that. So a little about us. We are a purpose-built platform for Sage 300. We've been working with Sage 300 now for over 13 years, which is in the e-commerce world an eternity. But we've built our integration out over time, and everybody goes, oh, it's super simple and things like that. But getting the data is one thing, but representing that data in the proper manner, that you can utilize it for your customers, so that your customers, whether they're going to the website or going to the phone to call you for a price, they're going to get the same pricing. They're going to get that same logic, that if no matter how they get that information, it's the same. And that's so important to get over time. We've been certified by Sage, which means we've gone through an onerous amount of testing with our system to make sure everything works. From a technology perspective, we build with the latest technologies as well. We're a responsive web design firm, so everything that we do works on any mobile devices, laptops, tablets, and you're going to get functionality no matter where you are, as long as you have a connection to the internet. And at the other side of that, it's all about that integration, the real-time order, the payments, all of that information. And capitalizing on the fact that there's B2B world, and so business to business, direct wholesalers selling to other retailers or anybody like that then finally gets it out into the marketplace, versus business to consumers, or what we like to call now direct to customer. So we can handle both, and that's very important, because in your world now you may be finding that you actually need to have multiple channels to get back to where you were. You're still having those relationships with your wholesalers, but maybe you're now dealing with a little bit, or toying with the idea of dealing with a little bit of direct to customer style of sales. And so being able to have one tool that can manage both of them, as well as your website, is super important. We also have sales enablement and customer portal pieces. And what that means is that not only can your customers use this tool to order, but your salespeople can too. Or if you have sales agents out in the field, they can use this tool to order on behalf of customers. And we can talk to that in a little bit, as well as the customer portal, which is really all about actions and historics. So my order history, looking at past orders, paying open invoices online, things like that. And that all comes down to play because we've got a real-time integration with Sage 300. So everything around your accounts receivable, your inventory, your orders, that all gets pulled into our system, and your customers are able to check all of that order history. Essentially, we're duplicating your business logic in 300 without you having to do anything. The ultimate goals here are really to help you drive incremental revenue, get to market as quickly as possible, and like I mentioned earlier, scale without that additional, we'll call it customization, but it could always be really additional management. So you don't have to add headcount to get this to work. Essentially, it should help you actually streamline your business processes. Think about if you can get customers to place 20% of their orders online. Does that mean that your sales phones quiet down a little bit? Probably. Your customer service reps or your sales reps, however you're handling your sales today, they'll have ability to do more actions within the environment that they're sort of focused on. They can be more proactive rather than reactive. And at the end of the day, so like I said, we broke it down to like 4 key areas. There's the B2B piece, and it's really about providing that specific pricing logic, that user experience for that customer that that AR record of yours. As soon as those orders are placed, they're posted in Sage 300. They're ready to go. They're ready to be picked, packed, and shipped, whatever your process is. And of course, when at the end of the day, it all comes down to being able to be found on the web. We're very SEO centric. You can do a lot of great things with the product from the front end. Then, of course, we mentioned the customer portal. So again, that's about accessing that detail, the things that people call you up for, your accounting department or your sales reps, daily. What's on my account? What open invoices do I have? Being able to see that and being able to pay for that online, big advantage nowadays. If you're not offering this out to your clients, somebody probably is, and giving them the experience that they want. And that kind of goes to that last point and that last question I get a lot is, do people want to buy online? Well, yes, absolutely they want to buy online, because what we're buying online in our personal lives, we're transposing that into our business lives, and we want to purchase goods for our companies online as well. But I also want to pay things easily. I don't necessarily want to have to write a check now or send an electronic check. It's great too, but paying things on credit card, being able to see the open invoices rather than having to ask for an email, being able to do it Sunday night on my couch, big advantage. And then of course we've got the payments piece that ties in and helps with reconciliation, batch processing of all the credit cards that come through your system as well. So right now, what I want to do is switch gears a little bit and fly into a little demo. So I will have to move my slide over here. So right now, this is just my demo, one of my demo sites here. But what I want to drive in quickly, because we've only got a few minutes left, is just to show you a quick few things. So, imagine you're selling welding gear or products going out to your clients. They can come in quickly. You can see all the marketing pieces, the great stuff about the company and things like that. But you can also get in and dive into the products. And so what you can see here is we go into these products individually, and it's sort of that very similar to an Amazon or any sort of shopping cart style. But this is in a B2B world. I've signed up. I've signed into the account already. I'm Travis Taylor. I work for Broadway Welding. I'm seeing the products that are specific to my needs. And that's very, very important. And you can see here, I've been able to tie in related products. So things that you can cross-sell wherever you want on the website. Pieces of information that are coming over from Sage 300 are things like the name of the product, the SKU, the pricing. All of this is done automatically. So as you change pricing or make a sale price or anything like that, it's picked up right away, as is stock. So you can see right now I'm actually showing it's out of stock. But if I check the stock button, I'll also be able to see quantity on hand, quantity on purchase order, and quantity on sales order, as well as if I had various warehouses set up within 300. So you can see the detail that you're going to be able to provide your clients. Should you want to, you can obviously roll this back and not want to show them everything, but that's a personal decision. But it's there for you to be able to show that type of detail. And again, it's all coming up automatically out of 300. So things like the units of measure, all of that fun stuff that you built into 300 around your pricing model is going to show up on the website. Switching gears a little bit again here, we'll show you the back end from a customer portal perspective. And so now I can drive in and I can see all my orders. I can attach documents to the order. So for this order right here, when I click into it, I can actually see documents that have been associated with it. It could be something as simple as a proof of delivery, but you could have spec sheets or WMIS materials or things that are a little more complex, or warranty pages that you want to go along with this order because it had certain products. And again, all this information around billing and shipping and everything like that coming directly out of 300. These things here you can just attach simply through an add-on that we have as well. You can go through, if you support back orders or quotes, things like that in 300, you can do that all here, as well as transaction history, where you can pay an open invoice very easily. Today, I don't have any invoices set up for this client, but you can imagine what it would be like from there. So switching gears for my last minute or so, realizing that we're bumping up into the time. Is there any questions from the field at all with this?
We do still have a little bit more time. So if there was more in the demo that you wanted to show, by all means, go right ahead.
I was probably jumping ahead 10 minutes, wasn't I?
Just a little bit.
That's okay. Well, fantastic. Well, let me head back to that then, actually. I always go a little too quick on the demo, so that's fantastic. So, going back to the products page, knowing that I've got a little more time, I will jump into the products here. And again, what you show and how you show it, very, up to individuals. You can show things in this manner where there's multiple products across the line. You can show them in just a straight tabular format, anything along that. Filters, very important for navigating through a site, are filters, so that you can find the products, easily. We've got customers with, several 100,000 SKUs in their system. Well, if you were to just dump that all into a website, it becomes very hard and onerous to be able to find your products, even if you categorize them properly. Elasticsearch here, which allows us to find, different items just depending upon what is in your database. I've got kind of a mixed bag here, so I look up bike and I can see all my bikes that are in here. And, whether you put a thumb image on there to give them a little detail about it or not, that's, again, just a preference on setting it up. But the key here is that you're getting this information all coming from Sage 300. You're leveraging what's already available in 300, and you're able to manage the things that make sense in 300, and then the things that are a little more marketing-like. So if you've got videos that you want to add to this, or in-depth product descriptions, things that Sage 300 just doesn't hold, you manage that within our system. But the key here is that, all of these items are available, for your customers, and you can decide which ones are going to be available on the web as well. But as soon as you add them into the 300, they are then available to be showing up on the website as well. And it's a very, very easy piece. Things that are very useful for a lot of our clients is that we support kits out of Sage 300 right away. As well as variants. So variants are things like, imagine t-shirts. They come in blue, red, and green, small, medium, and large. Well, that's 6 different SKUs in your system, but you can represent those on the page as just one product. And so, as I go into variants here, I'm selling wagons because, we got the red, yellow, and blue ones. But as I show them and go into the detail, now I've got one page with 6 different SKUs represented. And as I switch, depending upon the product, my pricing may change, my inventory levels may change. You can see here, I can't actually order a 2-seater yellow wagon because it's just not in stock, or it's not available. Whereas I can order reds, 1s, and 2s, even though I am showing out of stock. And so those are choices that you can make in your system, just to allow you to give a different representation to your clients depending upon who they are. And again, what your clients see is based upon, their price lists and their settings from 300. So if they don't have access to red wagons to order, they're not going to get it, depending upon the price lists that they're using. And again, same thing, you can have different specifications, videos. So as you start to build out content around your products, or if you're getting content from third parties, you'll be able to pop that into your website as well. You don't have to create the wheel yourself all the time. If we get back to the actual account, knowing I have a couple more minutes, which is fantastic, I can dive into things like, we can do promotions on the website. So, if there's active promotions, you can set them up. Clients can see them, get their test codes, put them into their promotion code, and put them into your shopping cart. From a shopping cart perspective, it's both visual as well as easy to step through and proceed to your shopping cart. And because in this world right now, I'm in a B2B world, I'm moving through, it already knows my billing address because I've signed into the site. I then can link in with multiple ship to addresses if it's available to me. I can also create new ship to addresses and store them without clogging up 300. Different types of shipping methods are available as well. We integrate out of the box with the traditional carriers. In Canada, it's like FedEx, UPS, as well as Canada Post, Purolator, Courier. But if you've got other shipping needs, or you use your own trucks, or you use things like curbside delivery now, which is a really big piece, we can support that and help you out there as well. And then, of course, moving through the payment piece, whether that's going to go on account or on a credit card payment, depending upon how you've set up those requirements within the client record. So if the client is only on account, that's the only option they're going to see. But if a client is maybe only on credit card, that's all they'll see as well. But maybe in this situation, I've set it up so that the client can actually say, I want it, place COD, or for some reason I want to put it through PayPal, which is going to have a higher transaction number. Or I am going to put it on account and just drive it through. But depending on how you do it, we integrate with several different payment processors up here in Canada, so we'll be able to support you no matter what. And you can just pump through. Everything's seamless. You're not going to have to go get new banking relationships and things like that. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, it's getting down into this piece here, which is all about the final step, the placing of the order. So however many steps you put through it, things like that, it's all customizable and all configurable for you. But at the end of the day, when I hit this place order, it's now completed. It's pushed through. It's given me a little notification saying the order has been successfully placed. It's in 300 now. It's ready to be handled by the rest of your processes. And so in that event, the whole piece is handled and tackled. You also get an email sent to your inbox, and you as a customer can then send that to as many people internally. It may be something you want to fire off to a client. It may be something that you want to fire off internally to maybe the sales rep so that they can thank the customer, or maybe it's going to separate warehouses. You can do all of that as well for the picking and packing, depending upon your processes within your company. But either way, you've got a lot of flexibility. And you can see here, the details are being sent through, easy to track. The orders that come from our system, as opposed to a keyed in order, look exactly the same in Sage 300. The only real difference is the fact that we'll put a little different naming convention on it so that you can report on it that much easier. So per se, a keyed in order may start with ORD. A web order could start with, like in this scenario, I've got it setting as WCWP. It could be WEB, whatever you want it to be. But then again, you can set your reports up, you can track your channels and understand all that information. So that's so important. To us, Sage 300 is our brain, and we're just that extension into the digital world. And that kind of takes me up to the end, I think. That's great. I got that extra few minutes.
We have had some questions come in.
Okay, fantastic.
One of the questions is what version of Sage 300 do you support?
Great question. We are because we're a multi-tenanted application, we're actually able to support multiple versions. So, we've got customers that go back as far as 5.4, 5.5. Really what it comes down to is the SQL Server that they're running. We need a little piece of technology called log tracking technology. So as long as they're on, 5.6, 5, even 6.0, things like that, 2017, not a problem. But it's their SQL Server. As long as their SQL Server has the log tracking technology, which I believe is 2012, we're good to go.
Amazing. Another question is, how does commercebuild work with or plug into my existing website?
It's a great question. We can be both the full CMS if you want that. So you'll have one system to sort of manage your website as well as the shopping cart, the transactional piece of it, or we can just subdomain off of that. And what that means is we don't really touch your current website. We may get your web team to put a link or a button, something like that, in that takes people to the web portal or the web store. And keep that as seamless. It looks and feels just like your other website, but it actually is you leaving and going to our shopping piece, our portal, and then you come back at the end of that transaction. So, we can work either way. We find that what happens, customers have spent a lot of money on a new website. They're all really pleased with it. They don't want to just throw that away, and we get that. So we're able, if it's a WordPress, a Drupal, custom built site, whatever it is, we just sort of build off the back of it, hang off there like an extra piece, and then, you can manage it however you want from there.
A question actually related to that, are we able to make our web store look the same as our pre-existing website if we don't have a designer?
Absolutely. That's a great question too. We have front-end designers, consultants that will help you with this. So, our goal here is that you're able to manage the website, the portal, whatever it is that you've integrated with us yourself at the end of the project. But our guys are here, in that way, it's just CSS and, maybe a little bit of JavaScript or something that makes those themes mirror up so that there's no jarring when they move between systems. But that's what our front-end designers or our engineers are meant to do. And then we have functional consultants, which are there as well to set up all the functionality for you. So at the end of the day, you're ready to go, you're trained up on the product, and we're just there to support you should you run into a technical glitch or how do I do this at the end of the, a couple months down the road. But we really want you to be kind of the owner of the website and take control. So even if you don't have big technical skills, you'll still be able to do it all with ours.
Another question is, how long does it take to build and launch a new web store?
It depends on their availability of the client often. It's as easy and as quick as, sorry about that, guys. It's as easy and quick as pushing it to, to 10 days or so if you're just doing a web portal, because there's not a lot of graphics to that. And by the web portal, that's the order history and the order details and paying invoices online. That's very easy to get up and running. When we start moving into imagery and designing the site, it gets a little more complex. It's like building the whole house rather than just the garage or the shed. And so we've got a little more moving pieces in there. And that typically, we can get we've done sites as quickly as 45 days. That's moving fairly quickly. That's, the customer's got everything, maybe moving off an existing platform onto ours, so they've got the imagery and things ready to go. But most of our projects take probably 60-ish days, so about 2 months. We work on a fixed fee. So, what we tell you the project's going to be is what it's going to be. There's no, unless the scope changes, there's really no change in the price.
Amazing. That's all the questions that we've had come in.
Okay.
I'd like to say thank you so much, Travis, for presenting today. That was extremely interesting and educational.